Our story begins in Africa, the very place where the human saga first unfolded. It's a story etched in the earth, whispered by the winds and carried in our very DNA, the birthplace of every human alive today. From the sweeping savannas to the lush rainforests, Africa cradled our species, nurturing our earliest ancestors. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, a time when the world looked vastly different than it does today, in what is now Morocco, a land of ancient mysteries and breathtaking landscapes, the earliest Homo sapiens emerged, our direct ancestors. These weren't just any humans, they were the dawn of us. These first modern humans lived, evolved, and thrived, adapting to the challenges and opportunities that Africa presented. Exclusively within Africa's diverse landscapes, they learned to navigate its rivers, hunt in its plains, and find shelter in its caves. They developed tools, crafted from stone and bone, created art, painting stories on cave walls, and built social structures, forming communities and establishing ways of life, passing down knowledge through generations, ensuring the survival and prosperity of their people. For nearly 200,000 years, an immense span of time that dwarfs recorded history, Africa was our only world. It was the stage upon which the drama of human evolution played out. The genetic diversity within Africa, a testament to this long and rich history, is greater than in the rest of the world combined, a stunning fact that underscores Africa's central role in the human story, proof of our shared origin. Every human on Earth can trace their ancestry back to this continent. All non-African populations descend from a small group that left Africa much later, venturing out into the unknown. This is not just African history. It's a story that belongs to us all. It's the universal story of everyone. It's a reminder that beneath our differences, we share a common heritage. The first chapter of humanity was written, not in books or on screens, but across Africa's savannas, forests, and deserts. These landscapes shaped us, challenged us, and ultimately made us who we are. Here, our capacity for language, art, and exploration was born, the seeds of civilization were sown. Before nations or races, before the divisions that sometimes seem to define us, we were one family, bound by our shared humanity and our common origin, nurtured in the cradle of humankind. Africa, the place where it all began. Understanding this shared beginning, delving into the depths of our past, is the first step to appreciating our incredible journey. It allows us to see ourselves as part of a larger story. Our origins unite us all, reminding us of our shared humanity and the bonds that connect us, no matter where we are today. It's a story of resilience, innovation, and ultimately, connection. For hundreds of millennia, our human story unfolded solely on the African continent. Our ancestors lived, evolved, and thrived within its diverse landscapes. But then, something remarkable happened. A relatively small group of our ancestors, driven by curiosity, necessity, or perhaps a combination of both, began a journey. This was not just a walk across the savannah, it was a pivotal moment that would reshape the entire world, forever altering the course of human history. The timeline places this momentous event around 70,000 years ago. Small, interconnected bands of Homo sapiens, driven by an innate desire to explore and expand, slowly ventured out of Africa, making their way across the Red Sea and crossing into the Arabian Peninsula. They were, in every sense of the word, explorers, the vanguard of humanity's global expansion. As they moved, they were not alone. They were entering lands already inhabited by other human species, like the Neanderthals and Denisovans, leading to complex interactions and at times, interbreeding. Following the familiar paths of coastlines and rivers, these early humans navigated the unknown, demonstrating an incredible capacity to adapt to new and often challenging environments, learning to survive in climates vastly different from their African homeland. Their journey continued, pushing eastward into Asia and westward into Europe, venturing further and beyond the familiar horizons. Remarkably, by 65,000 years ago they had even reached the distant shores of Australia, and later, by around 20,000 years ago they had crossed the Bering Land Bridge and populated the Americas. This rapid expansion, when viewed against the vast backdrop of evolutionary time, occurred in what seems like a mere blink of an eye. In an astonishingly short period, Homo sapiens had successfully colonized nearly every habitable continent on the planet. This incredible migration left an indelible mark, shaping our genetic makeup in profound ways. Non-African populations, as a result, carry only a subset of the immense genetic diversity found within Africa, the cradle of humankind. As different groups moved further apart and adapted to their unique environments, they gradually became more genetically distinct from one another. But despite these differences, all human populations still share the unmistakable signature of that original, foundational migration out of Africa. The differences we see today are relatively recent developments. Our deepest roots, our shared origins, are what truly define us. Ultimately, we are all descendants of those courageous and pioneering first African explorers, bound together by a common heritage. The story of humanity is deeply rooted in Africa. It's where our earliest ancestors first emerged, setting the stage for the incredible journey of humankind across the globe. So a natural question arises. Were the first people everywhere black by today's standards? Did they possess the physical characteristics we now associate with people of African descent? When we look at the genetic evidence, the answer is a resounding yes. Early migrants evolved in a tropical, high UV environment where the sun's rays were intense. Consequently, they had dark skin, an adaptation for survival, providing crucial protection against the damaging effects of ultraviolet radiation. This wasn't a matter of choice, but a necessity for health and well-being. The first modern humans in Asia, Australia, and Europe were African people with these traits. They carried the genetic legacy of their homeland, a testament to the power of adaptation and the shared ancestry of all humankind. For thousands of years, spanning countless generations, the original inhabitants of every continent would be identified today as black. Their presence shaped the early history of these lands, leaving an indelible mark on the human story. But race as we know it, with all its complex social and political baggage, is a recent social invention. It's not a biological reality for our ancestors, who lived in a world where such distinctions held no meaning. They saw themselves by family or tribe, bound by kinship and shared experiences. Skin color was simply a characteristic, not a defining factor of identity or belonging. Therefore, applying modern racial labels to ancient people is not only inaccurate but also deeply misleading. It distorts our understanding of the past and perpetuates harmful stereotypes. The ancestral population of all non-Africans was African, a fact supported by overwhelming genetic and archaeological evidence. They were carrying traits shaped by Africa's environment, a testament to the power of natural selection and the adaptability of the human species. For much of early history, humanity's face was a dark-skinned one, a reflection of our shared origins and the environments in which we evolved. The development of lighter skin and other features came later, as populations migrated to different regions and adapted to new conditions. These were adaptations, not separate origins, but rather variations on a common theme. Our diversity is a story of change, adaptation, and resilience, not a story of division or fundamental difference. Ultimately, we all share the same beginnings, connected by a common thread that stretches back to the African continent. How do we know this story is true? The evidence is overwhelming. Genetics reveals a single origin in Africa, with immense diversity there and less outside it. Archaeology maps our ancestors' journey, with the oldest Homo sapiens fossils found only in Africa. As we move outward, fossil dates get younger, matching the migration timeline. Linguistics shows the greatest language diversity in Africa, echoing our genetic roots. Climate science and paleoanthropology reveal ancient green corridors that enabled migration. All these threads, DNA, bones, languages, and climate, tell the same story. Our shared human journey begins unequivocally in Africa. The legacy of Africa's first migration still echoes in populations across Asia and Australia. Groups like the Jarawa, Ong, Eta, and Semang are direct descendants of early migrants, with distinct features linking them to ancient Africa. Their genetics show they diverged early from other Eurasian peoples, representing one of the oldest branches outside Africa. Aboriginal Australians, with ancestry stretching back 65,000 years, are direct descendants of the first humans to reach the continent. They adapted in isolation, preserving a unique heritage. Even in the Americas, ancient skulls like Lusia woman hint at a more complex peopling, possibly involving early migrants with African affinities. These stories remind us that the first face on every continent was an African one. The echoes of that presence remain today. If the first global humans had dark skin, how did our appearances change? The answer? Evolution by natural selection. As humans settled in new environments, their bodies adapted to local conditions. In the tropics, dark skin protected against intense UV radiation and preserved vital nutrients. In regions with less sunlight, lighter skin evolved to help produce vitamin D. Other traits, nose shape, body size, hair texture, also adapted to climate. These differences are recent, superficial, and a testament to our adaptability. Beneath the surface, we remain closely related. Our diversity is skin-deep. Our unity is profound. The story of human appearance is one of adaptation, not separation. We are one family, shaped by the world we explored. Understanding our shared African origins changes how we see ourselves and each other. The idea of separate races is a myth. Our differences are recent adaptations, not deep divides. Science shows we are 99.9% genetically identical. Embracing this truth dismantles prejudice and builds empathy. The first inhabitants of every continent were African in origin. This reframes belonging and indigeneity. Our diversity is a product of resilience and creativity, not division. Each culture and appearance is a thread in humanity's tapestry, all tracing back to Africa. Knowing our true story empowers us to celebrate our unity. The divisions of today are recent and fragile. Our greatest strength is our shared humanity. One story, one family, one world.